can go to film school, you can pitch your script out there, you can write a book first and maybe sell that, you could make short films with your friends. YouTube is just a good vehicle because you can start building an audience right away.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I saw you get a little emotional up there, talking
yeah.
about all the people who've been inspired to start their own channels.
Yeah, I do sometimes. I've had many meme phases in my life. One of them was that I cry all the time in videos, and so that was, people have kind of forgotten about that. I get really weepy about it because the award is something, being acknowledged. I don't really mind awards, but I really, really, really care about people making things and wanting to make things, more importantly than anything. I've said inspiration is the most valuable currency that people have, and some people really, really just need inspiration to be able to go to the next step and make the next thing and see it in themselves that they can make it. And so if I can show that, that makes me really happy. And seeing people behind the stage actually coming up to me, that means so much more than this. And this is meaningful. I swear it's meaningful. But really, that personal connection is more meaningful.
Well, speaking of loving people who make things, congratulations on the success of Iron Lung.
Thank you very much.
I did see it in theaters. I had a great time.
Oh, thank you.
And, for years, people had said YouTube was a stepping stone to Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Now, it looks like creators are kind of forming their own version of Hollywood. Look at, some of the most successful movies of the last few months.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's accurate?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that it's becoming its own thing, and that allows people to control their destiny a little bit. There's a lot of, I bet, filmmakers out there, who you might call them legacy filmmakers, but people in the traditional sphere who had to make concessions to get their vision made. And that's not a bad thing. Like, we can't all just do it ourselves, but for the first time ever with YouTube, you kind of can. I didn't make Iron Lung by myself, by the way. Huge crew, lots of people in post helping out. I definitely wasn't alone in all of that. But at the same time, the people on YouTube are making things themselves, and they're doing it all by themselves when they start out, at least. And it's beautiful to see this avenue for people to have a platform to put out their thoughts, their undiluted vision.
Yeah.
And the more that we get into this YouTube thing and the creator whole sphere, the closer we get to translating these vivid imaginations we have in our head and getting them out in the real world directly with no interference and no translation buffer, to get it onto the screen. And I'm not talking about AI or anything like that. I'm just talking literally like the software, the cameras are more accessible, everything more accessible. Even to the part where I started YouTube to now, it's so much more accessible for someone to get started in making a beautiful thing. And that art, people are just going to get better at it. And YouTube has become like this big platform. Alongside the other social media, it's true, TikTok, but YouTube obviously my specialty.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people today talk about how the future of entertainment is vertical.
Yeah.
And I know you film horizontal. So how do you feel about the vertical video, the rise of vertical video?
I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If there's content for vertical that it works better for, that's fine. I don't imagine there'll be vertical movie theaters. I think just logistically it's a strange build. Your neck would hurt, but it kind of just fits more. Even IMAX is like more square, and people really like IMAX. So it's whatever format makes sense for what you're making. I don't think that it's one thing or another to say like it must be horizontal or it must be vertical, because there's many projects where it makes more sense for one versus the other.
Yeah. If a young fan or a fan in general came up to you and they said their dream is to make a feature film like you did, what advice would you give them? Would you tell them that you have to go through certain Hollywood barriers, or could you just say start on YouTube, start on TikTok?
I think it's perfectly valid to start on YouTube, start on TikTok. I think it's also perfectly valid to go the traditional path. It's fine. You can go to film school. You can pitch your script out there. You can write a book first and maybe sell that. You could make short films with your friends. YouTube is just a good vehicle because you can start building an audience right away. And that's the power of social media, is just you get a leg up because you already have people that like what you make from the get-go. And it's much harder in the traditional sphere to do that because in order to have your first project in front of anybody, it has to go through everybody's thumbs up, right? So I say start on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, because it gets you an option and you'll start to get people's feedback. So you learn and you don't have to mold yourself to exactly what they like, but take it in and then be like, okay, how can I get better so that, they will see what I'm trying to make, and I will improve my skill. That's a great place to start.
So finally, I know you mentioned it's been a while since you've been at VidCon.
Yeah.
The internet has changed a lot in 15 years since
Yes.
VidCon started. In your opinion, what's been the biggest change?
I mean, it
Literally
hasn't
everything.
really changed that much. Maybe the speed at which people can rise and subsequently fall, that can be hard for a lot of people. There's plenty of people from my area that have rose really quickly, had a precipitous drop. That happens. I wait when I become irrelevant and fall away. But with the viral cycle of some of these platforms like TikTok, you'll see someone who will have videos just explode, and then they'll start to incorporate their entire life around that, and then the algorithm will shut them down. YouTube's also this happens on YouTube as well. But I feel like as it's evolved, more people are doing it. It's faster. The spike is faster. Therefore, the fall is faster. And so that can be really hard on people that want to be creators. But even if that happens, it's not everyone's going to go. It's so hard to see the difference when you start, and then you've got this huge, like millions of people are watching, and then it's like, oh no, only thousands of people watching. Hard to get the perspective back that that's thousands of people. Even if it was millions, it's thousands now, and you're building that. The spikes are transient. The arc of growing your art still takes the same amount of time no matter what. It's going to be a slow process. And you can't expect to be amazing at something right away. Anyway, no one could expect that. So it's like, yeah, it's going to take time, even with the transient spikes. So keep trying.